Hey, this is Ash Krieger from Wolf Mountain Productions. You're about to watch a call with Rick of Blood Mother, and this is the first album we've put out on the new Wolf Mountain Productions Assisted Independence Plan. And I hope you enjoy the call. This is a brand new format we're trying out. I've already noticed a million technical errors that I could have done better in this first recording, but instead of being a perfectionist, just going to put it out authentically with all of its issues. And maybe we'll do this down the line a little more cleaned up. But for now, here's the discussion with Rick, and check out Blood Mother. Are you also hiding in your basement? Because, like, it's hot as shit here.
Yeah, and I just learned that my basement is like my little band room is flooding, which is not awesome. I've been trying to set up a I have like a shitty, like, it's way too big, but it's like a shitty like Amazon above ground pool that's been in my garage for like 5 years. I decided to get out for 4th of July weekend that critters have chewed holes through. And like the filter's broken and the hose is, everything is fucking broken. So just for days, water's just been running around my backyard and I guess flooding into my basement. So, but I'm gonna swim in a fucking pool tomorrow, though. I'm gonna get drunk in a pool tomorrow.
Well, how much has been used to plug it up?
2 entire rolls.
Nice.
2 entire rolls. And just now I was outside trying to super glue the hose together to see if that does anything.
Plumbing silicone might do better.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
That's
I'm not going to do it the right way. Not at this point, you know.
Yeah. If you can't duck it, chuck it.
Yeah.
So, I've never done a video interview before, so we're just going to see how it goes.
Okay. I'm assuming that if it's just the questions from people that can kind of remain anonymous, that they're going to be slightly ridiculous, but we'll see.
All right. So, I guess let's start it off. Why did you want to do a solo project instead of continuing or bringing back The Lion's Daughter?
The Lion's Daughter, truth be told, kind of turned into a solo project anyway. Not through any fault of those other guys, but just through me kind of being a control freak. And I'm someone that I can write music better if I can just kind of do it on my own terms alone. Like it's fun to do the thing where you're in a room with some other guys, like jamming out parts or whatever, but it's hard for me to just like turn creativity on like that. Like, oh, it's Wednesday and it's 2 p.m. so this is when we meet up and this is when we write music or whatever. And maybe I'm not fucking feeling it Wednesday at 2 p.m. Maybe I'm feeling it Sunday night at 4 a.m. when I couldn't sleep or whatever. So it just became easier to write stuff alone with and write all the parts to piece it together to see how it sounds and stuff. And then, I mean, really with Lion's Daughter stuff too, is like, instead of teaching everybody the other parts before going in the studio, well, I'll just play the parts in the studio and we'll get those stems or whatever. We'll get the soloed tracks and you can learn from that, and then we can play it as a band. All of it besides drums. Obviously, Eric always played the drum stuff, but yeah, just the way Lion's Daughter kind of just turned into the Rick show, I think, in a way. I figured, why not just make it the fucking Rick show and do ultimately a solo project, you know?
Yeah. Is that really why it ended? Like, that's not your question, just continuing.
Oh yeah, I don't even remember why it ended at this point. I think it was just one of those things that ran its course. Like, we did everything, and you know, we kind of started out independent, and then we did the whole label thing, and you know, and the big or the big-ish tours, and then kind of went independent again, and I don't know, just some things just run their course. Like I think some bands should end, You know, there's like a they'll never see this, so who gives a shit? But there's like a local band that's about to do their 20th anniversary show here, and it's like, dude, congratulations on 20 years of nobody giving a shit. You know, um, I don't want to be that band, so we stopped it at 18 years instead of 20.
Okay, it's already pretty long.
Yeah, it's too long.
Yeah.
That's too long. I mean, like, what the fuck? What else were we gonna do? We've done everything from the like, oh, it's really gross sludge metal or whatever. It's here's synthesizer stuff. Here's a fucking folk record. Here's clean vocals. Here's like we did all the stuff. There's no need to like retread on and do any of it over again or try to find some new thing. It was just to me it was like way more exciting to just completely start fresh and have no reference point of like past music or anything.
You always seem like so cynical about it. It's actually hard to tell if like you're angry at how things went before or if that's just your personality and you're just actually totally cool with it and just kind of a funny dude.
No, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool with it. It just like I'm proud of a lot of what we did. I love the guys. I still see that. I mean, obviously, like Eric still plays on this project, and I see Scott all the time. Scott's one of my oldest, dearest friends. Aaron, I wish I saw a little more often, but he's got family life and a real job and stuff. But no, I love those guys, and we're a band that broke up, so of course at some point we're gonna do a fucking reunion show or something like that. That's inevitable these days, you know. So and if and when Blood Mother turns into a live project, it's very likely that I'll ask those same guys if they want to be a part of it. You know?
It's
So
actually a question down the line. Like, is that
oh, okay.
plan on the horizon? Like, do you want to do live Blood Mother?
I kind of do, but I also like I hate playing shows. I hate it. I hate loading up all the shit and driving to the venue and waiting to get in and saying hi to everybody and then loading all your shit in and then sitting around for fucking ever and then waiting for okay, this is cynical maybe, but like waiting
Okay.
for the Punishers to come in. St. Louis we got, I mean, I know every scene does, but man, we got our fucking Punishers and every one of them can't wait to tell me a story I don't want to hear. So 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 for the most part I'll hide. Like Church Snakes just played a show and get my other band and I hid the entire time. I didn't fucking talk to anybody, and that's not fun either, just like sitting in the back or sitting in your car or whatever waiting to play.
It's pretty
The actual
normal.
playing part I love, but all the rest of it can fuck off.
Right, I was about to ask if you still actually enjoy the playing. So a lot of people, that's what makes it worth it.
The playing I like, yeah.
Okay.
The playing I think is really fun. And I would want to do Blood Mother live because I think it would be I don't know if fun's the right word, but I think it would be like cathartic to play some of these songs live, and I think they could come across really intensely, in a live setting.
And like to do that live, are you just gonna like be just like the Lion's Daughter, where it's a very straightforward metal show, or did you want to like it is kind of a very theatrical sounding thing? Are you gonna like bring in any kind of theatrical elements, or like in your dream world, would you?
No, probably not. Probably
Okay.
not. I mean, well, I guess it depends on how you define theatrics. I'm not going to have a woman in a deer costume dance around the stage or, well, you know what? Now that I said it out loud, that does sound pretty cool. I could turn it into a full like Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare puppet show. But theatrical lighting, sure, and stuff like that. And I think it would need to be more than just like a 3 or 4 piece band to be done well. I wouldn't want to just have a bunch of samples playing. I would want um, the real instruments being played live on stage to make kind of a full production of it, which of course will be more difficult. But
Yeah. So besides just your guitar, drums, synthesizer, what else specifically would you need? Because I know most of it you did on the synthesizer, right?
a lot of it, yeah. But there are a lot of real pianos on there as well. They had at the studio. They had a huge like grand piano. The studio where we recorded drums and mix and stuff. They had a big piano there. So some of that stuff was played there. what else? There's some real like pipe organs and stuff on there as well. So I think
Because
really
you
I
need
would
a
just I
hot
would
organist.
yeah, that'd be great. I would love that. Um, we'll probably need one or two people that are kind of multi-instrumentalists that can play some of the acoustic guitar parts and play some of the piano parts live and all that kind of stuff. I also think it's just fun to see like a band with a lot of people on stage all doing stuff, like seeing Mr. Bungle back in the day when there were like 8 people on stage and you're like, what's that gong for? And an hour and a half into the show, the gong gets hit once. And you're like, cool, I'm glad they brought the gong. I would love to do something like that.
And I was mentioning theatrical stuff because it is so like horror vibes, horror feeling. Like,
Yeah,
was that an intentional theme, like from the beginning?
not really. That just comes out because I love that shit. I love
Mhm.
any like John Carpenter stuff from back in the day, and I mean all the obvious references, but that stuff is so just in my blood forever that it kind of it's going to show up. It even did with Lion's Daughter stuff before we used synthesizers. I was writing guitar lines that basically sounded like the Halloween theme or something like that. So I think that the horror stuff just comes through. I don't know if I could avoid it if I tried. Honestly, it's just that's my shit. That's what I probably like, horror movies and music, metal music, whatever you want to call it, equally. And I've always kind of connected the two. Um, so yeah,
And it's specifically horror cowboy.
horror cowboy. Why not? There aren't enough good horror westerns, so I'll make a soundtrack for one that doesn't exist.
Hey, it will probably happen one day.
Mhm.
All right. For the actual questions,
Yeah.
what did you learn in your previous experience with The Lion's Daughter that made you not want to go to the traditional label and touring route again? We've already established you might end up touring anyways one
Yeah.
day, but
Um, what did I learn? I learned that it's a lot of bullshit. It's a lot of the business side of it is just so fucking annoying, and it's no part of why I play music or like music has to do with being fucking schmoozy with and name dropping and fucking networking and you know promotional stunts and
Mhm.
I don't just all the shit that goes along with that. It ruins it, honestly. It kind of ruins it. So I learned, which I think I kind of already knew from like a band I was in back in the day that like toured nonstop. Um,
Other than The Lion's Daughter?
yeah, there was a band I don't ever mention a band that
Oh,
Eric and I were both in, but we were in it for like 3 years. People could figure it out, but I joined. I'll blame Eric. I joined Eric's shitty metalcore band in like the mid 2000s. I wanted to tour. I just wanted. I was in the middle of um learning the set. I was going to play drums for a pop punk band just so I could go on tour. And then I got a call from these other guys that were like a metalcore band. They sounded like Poison the Well or something, about playing guitar. And I was like, well, I'd much rather play guitar and I like heavier stuff more than this like kind of bubblegummy pop stuff. But anyway, um yeah, I guess I kind of just this time around I would rather focus on the music and the creative side of things rather than the business side of it or playing like the industry game, whatever. I mean, a lot of these people, we worked with a lot of cool people. I'm fortunate enough that I've met and worked with a lot of really cool people. I've also met a lot of fucking bozos. I'm sure you know where I'm coming from. I'm sure, without specifying who. Uh, uh, and I have no. I'm not interested in doing that again. I would rather just kind of make my shit on my terms and then also be very selective about the people that I work with that I think have a similar vision or kind of ethics maybe. Um, Yes, that's the answer to that question.
Is there anything you didn't get to do with the Lion's Daughter that you really want to experience still when it comes to music in general? Experience, I guess.
Yeah, I want to do the Goblin tour that we were supposed to do, but now I think two of them are dead now, so there's no chance of that happening. But we got booked on. It was booked and announced. We were supposed to do 2019. We were supposed to do a full U.S. and Canada tour, opening for Goblin, who are like one of my favorite bands ever. When it comes to like rock music and horror stuff together, like that's the band. And it got canceled because what happened the first time? Somebody got sick, and then it got rebooked, and it was like fuck yeah. And then COVID happened, and then it got booked again. And what happened the third time? I don't know. Something else happened the third time and it got canceled. And then it was going to get booked the fourth time. And I think the founding guitar player passed. So it got canceled. So anyway, that's a tour that it was the carrot dangling in our faces the whole time. It was like, if this was an audience, if there were to be an audience that were going to understand what the Lion's Daughter was doing, it was going to be a Goblin, and just getting to see Goblin every night, like fucking awesome. So if I could redo anything or I don't know, that was the one kind of big thing that never happened. I still wish we could have done that tour. The only tours we ever did, we were always like a little out of place on like a standard death metal tour or hardcore or whatever. We never really totally fit in, which was fun but also frustrating. Yeah, musically though, no, did it all. Not a single thing that I think we overlooked. If anything, we did and explored too much.
Is there any, like you're saying, the Goblin audience would have understood the Lion's Daughter perfectly? Is there an equivalent in your mind when it comes to Blood Mother of the perfect band to go on like a dream tour with?
That's a very good question. I've never really considered that. You know who I just saw in Chicago, who I think would be great, is Aranci Pazuzu, the French black metal band. They're another one of those bands where there are a lot of, I don't know, there are maybe like six people on stage. The whole stage is covered in random synthesizers and instruments, and I mean it's bludgeoning when they all lock in on something together. Anyway, they're really really great. But they're out there. They're pretty weird, and they definitely just do whatever they want. And they were fucking great. It was one of the best bands I've seen in a long, long time. Well worth it. Yeah, they're great. I don't think they have a bad record, but I think like a band like that would be really cool. Something that's like leans a little towards avant-garde or experimentation or whatever. But I'm always the kind of person I want to play to like an open-minded audience, you know. Usually, honestly, if you get like a good crowd of like nerds, that's the best crowd. Like nerds are just like open-minded. I say nerds affectionately. Nerds are just like often open-minded, just kind of happy people that are kind of there to have a good time, and they're interested in whatever's being thrown at them. So in that case, you know what? Weird Al. We want to tour with Weird Al. That would be the perfect crowd. Everybody at a Weird Al show is gonna understand what Blood Mother is doing.
That might actually be really.
Oh, I don't know what that. I was like, I'm not going to elaborate because that statement's ridiculous enough to just leave alone.
We're just gonna leave it.
Yeah.
Well, the sound of Blood Mother in general, like it's really hard defining what genre it even is, as far as you're talking about like bands to tour with and such.
Mm-hmm.
How do you define it? Because we had this trouble like trying to define you at all, and like where to stick the music, where to promote it.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't like any of the fucking labels that you could maybe throw on it. There are black metal elements, but it's not black metal. It's not post metal or post hardcore I saw something saying that it was punk. I think it's very far from punk.
Mm.
Um, it was the same review that it was the same review that kept crediting Eric the drummer as the vocalist and guitar player and songwriter and stuff. And they called him Ramsier twice, and the last one they called him like Ramses. They even so I won't say who it was, but they weren't paying attention anyway,
Oh no,
and
I
called
have
it
it.
punk. Yeah, which is pretty funny. But I don't know what I would call it because I also wouldn't call it like, oh, it's metal cowboy music or something. It's not something like other bands out there like that Spirit World band where is it
Mhm.
Spirit World
I
where
think I think it's the one you're thinking of, where it's kind of westerny, black metal-y ish.
yeah, they're like
Here's
they're
something.
like they sound like Integrity or something. It's like metallic hardcore, but they wear like silly costumes. They wear like Western wear and have cowboys on their album cover, and that's the theme. So it's very specific and easy to say like, oh, it's cowboy. I think it sucks. It's a gimmick, but it's cowboy metallic hardcore. And so okay, that's very easy to say, even though I don't think you hear the Western influence at all. But you could just label it as that, and that actually makes it easy for people because then that's very digestible. It's something people get it right away.
Right, example.
Oh, sorry. It's probably good because this is where I'm just like talking shit about other bands, which I shouldn't do. But
I mean,
you got me
talking
good.
shit is probably better than me, because I confused when you start saying cowboy metal band. I was like, oh, you mean, I was thinking Wayfarer, but I agreed when you said Spirit World. Very different
Oh
groups.
yeah. So
Both kind of western.
Wayfarer, they actually opened. Fuck, weird. Okay, that's weird. Maybe that's where am piecing this all together. Wayfarer opened for Oranzi Pazuzu in Chicago. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So I'm not
That's
that far off in thinking that would be a good pair if we toured with them. Maybe Wayfarer was cool. Like I got what they were doing, and I dug it. Like, and they didn't the cowboy stuff. They didn't like beat you over the head with, and it wasn't done fashionably. Like it was actually integrated into the sound of the band. It wasn't just a costume, which I appreciated. But
yeah, that definitely worked. Wayfarer and Blood Mother.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, overall, do you think, like you're saying before, that like nerds are the best audience? Do you think
Mhm.
metal audiences in general are way more understanding than they used to be of kind of like different genres or stuff that's a little newer and weirder?
I think so. I think
I think
so. Like big time, actually. I think about like late '90s or early 2000s. If you went to see a death metal band, it was a bunch of fucking Neanderthals. Like it was legitimately frightening fucking people. It was a bunch of shitty, drunk, stoned, fucking redneck, like people that were waiting to like beat the shit out of you, maybe. Um, and now, like you go see Napalm Death, and the fact that like half the crowd is like gay, trans, um, people are kind of whatever they want to be. Where I think you couldn't do that years ago. If you were gay at a death metal show years ago, you would have gotten fucked with. And now people can just be whoever they want to be and go see any band they want to see. And the kind of the doors are just wide open in a way that's really good and positive and kind of healthy for music, because music, I think, is free in the same way, where uh it can kind of do whatever it wants. And instead of the old school death metal Neanderthal crowd, which I love that music, I love old school death metal, but instead of that crowd who are gonna like literally stand there and flip you off if you're anything other than Carcass, um I do think crowds are way more open-minded now to um to bands trying new things or new ideas, you know, which is a good thing. And it's good for shows, it's good for people, and it's good for music.
I agree. So in that vein, you could actually go out with a bunch of stuff and it would actually work out.
Ideally, I mean, Lion's Daughter, we did the big death metal tour that we did was in Europe. So it's like a little different, but people were pretty cool to us as the only band that were not death metal on a death and grind bill. We were the one band that was really not, didn't check those boxes. And for the most part, people were cool. There was a lot of people kind of standing there not really getting it, and that's fine too, because maybe they'll think about it and the music later. But
Well, a lot of people say the difference between like touring the US and Europe is like they're a lot less expressive over there on average. Would you just say that was maybe it?
um it's hard to say. um
Takes a lot to get a European crowd really going.
yeah, I guess it really depends where you're at.
Mhm.
Germany, it's not that hard. Germans are fucking awesome. Like Germans just, I don't know, they just, yes, yes. Um, and it's cool. And they, in a way, where like they seem like they really appreciate it, and like they fucking live, breathe, eat the stuff. You go to England, yeah, nobody gives a shit. Everybody just stands there like wishing they could just be outside smoking instead, you know. But so I guess it depends where you are. I'd say I've always said that the huge difference between touring the States and touring Europe is the food. You get fed in Europe. In the States, you get fucking nothing. Um, if you get crackers and mustard, you're lucky. But anywhere in Europe you show up, there's a bunch of shit out, and you're like, oh, cool, this is dinner. And they're like, no, 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 this is just the snacks. Dinner's going to be out at 7 or whatever. And then sometimes they give you like little sweet desserts after the show. Fucking awesome.
They know how to host, that's for sure.
They do.
All right, going back to America and
Uh-huh.
the release. What about the artwork? Like, why Salamander King? Like, were you already a fan of his stuff, or
No, I hadn't seen his stuff before. There was a there's a YouTuber called Super Eye Patch Wolf. I think he's an Irish guy. He makes the most incredible video essays, and I adore the guy. Um, he has if you look up anything, look up the video that he made called "What the Internet Did to Garfield," and it's fascinating. Um, but he made a video about video games that didn't exist, and this is a whole world and uh, culture and I guess part of the internet mainly, where people make fake video games that you can't play. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's actually really cool because some of them you could watch, and they're extremely creepy and uncanny and unsettling and bizarre, and really creative, and some of them are legitimately scary. Um, so he started talking about the Salamander King because Salamander King made a complete like, I don't know if you'd call it an ARG or like an RPG. I guess an RPG, but made a book full of art that's playing game, but it's not a game. It doesn't actually exist. Um, it basically just goes through. I'm bad at describing this. Go watch the video because he's really really good at describing it. But that's where I first saw that Salamander King's artwork, and just instantly, as soon as I thought, I was like, that's it. That is the vibe exactly. It's dark and creepy. There's a weird rustic edge to it. It also looks like it's not AI, and I'm a big fan of putting something off that definitely looks like it was drawn and made by a human being. Where sometimes it's kind of hard to to tell. Um, but his uh, I actually shouldn't even say his. I don't know. I don't even know the person's real name. I've communicated with them and they're awesome, but I couldn't even tell you their name. Uh, so we'll stick to Salamander King. But you can tell that it was done by a human being with a vision and terrifying style. And I was lucky enough to get to collaborate with them on something and borrow that style to represent the sound of this band.
oh yeah, I totally thought it was like a woodcut print at first, like the way that's styled.
It does look like it, yeah. Yeah. I'm not
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure how he the way that the files are, I think I know what like format he uses to make the stuff. They make or they do. I won't give away any secrets, but I don't think it is a wood cut, but yeah, it has
Mm.
that vibe to it, which is part of why I like it. I mean, it kind of fits in with that with the whole old west kind of feel.
So, like, what's up with the spooky horse?
What do
Gotta
you
know
think's
that
up
one.
with it? That's my
Um,
response. What do you think's up with it?
I think it
Um,
wants to eat my soul.
cool. Yeah, that's a good answer. There are no wrong answers to what to the intentions of the spooky horse. It might want to fuck you. You don't know.
Oh, Jesus. No,
Does it have two cocks? Who knows?
God, maybe, probably does. Well, I
If
don't
you
know.
got two heads, you need two cocks.
It'd be unfortunate to only have one at that rate, I guess.
I agree. I agree. All right, I'm glad that's settled.
Yeah, the vinyl press. It really enjoyed getting to call your hand pour mixture the spooky horse mix. That's like on their record now. Oh, you are totally breaking up.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yep. Well, your pool is apparently leaked into your web router.
Yeah. Yeah. You just kind of went pixelated, so I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what's going on. I could always try moving, but then everything
I
will
mean,
get
we've
all
already like
inconsistent.
covered all the questions actually too.
Okay. Perfect.
Guess that works out. We ended on two cocks.
I'm glad. I mean, it couldn't have ended anywhere but two horse cocks.